Hi guys, how we doing? Halfway through the week, how's everybody feeling? I'm feeling pretty good, I gotta say. I feel like I'm getting a lot done this week, and I love that feeling, right? That is such a good feeling to, be halfway through the week and feel like, gosh, you've already accomplished so many things that you set out to do for the week. I hope you guys are feeling that way too. And if you're not, that's okay too, right? Everybody deserves some downtime. So if you're feeling sluggish and lazy this week, then more power to you as well, right? Everybody has those days. So, or weeks, no problems. So, gotta bring the comments in here. Hi, Maggie. How are you? I'm so glad to see you guys. Miss Sue, Sylvia, hi from Omaha. How's the weather in Omaha? Such a lame question, but I genuinely want to know. What's the weather like? Hey, Joan, you got your lunch? Little miss. Good afternoon, feeling great. That's good. I'm really glad. Like I said, I'm feeling pretty good myself. It's Wednesday and I've gotten a lot done. I still have a lot of other things to do, right? I mean, the week is still a few days left. But I feel like I'm in a better place than I was last week as far as all the things that I needed to do. Last week I just could not seem to catch up. So feeling better about things this week. It's busy, but it's good kind of busy. Hi, Kimberly. How are you? Hey, Stacia. Oh, gosh. 70s and sunny. Pretty perfect this week. That does sound pretty perfect. It's sunny here as well, here in Knoxville. Last week the temperature had come down and it was so nice. There was this definite little fall feeling in the air. And this week the temperature is back up. The humidity is not too bad, but it's summer heat just will not let go. Hey, Patty, how are we doing? Joan says she's chowing down now. I got some Vegemite to go with that. I've got a whole bottle of it you can have. Hey, Donna, how are you? Rosalinda, you guys, Miss Lena is here. You guys, Lena lives in Canada and she's sending me a goodie box from Canada. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be fun. Hi, Carrie. Hey, Ramona. Hey, Jane. Jane, you've changed your avatar and it throws me off. Every time I see it, I'm like, who is that? I'm not used to seeing that one. All right, guys. So I was just letting everybody come on in before we get started. Doesn't hurt to let everybody catch up, right? So let's talk a couple of things. Let's start with weekly deals, and then before we get down and dirty with our project, I'm going to share some insider information that I literally just got at 12:59. 12:59, 1 minute before our Facebook Live started. All right, so let's talk weekly deals. Buy 3, get 1 free on the fairy silk. That's such a good deal. Such a good deal. Fall Fairy is the code for that one. Next is 10% off of all clasps. And you guys, sometimes the clasp gets kind of left out. I'm particularly guilty of using just a lobster clasp and just throwing it on there. But holiday jewelry making, gift giving season is coming up. So if you want to add that extra special touch to your piece, then put a beautiful clasp on it, right? I'm going to show you guys an awesome clasp today, as a matter of fact. And the code for that is 10 clasps. And then last but not least, this ties in very well with what we are doing today. $10 off the Magical Mystery Beadbox subscriptions. So if you have not subscribed, a couple of things you need to know. Number 1, you have to subscribe by the end of the day today if you want to get October's box. So if you wait till tomorrow, you're going to have to wait until November's box comes. So don't wait. There's the cutoff right there. 7/10/7. That's today. You've got to get subscribed today if you want the October box. And I am telling you, you do not want to miss this one. I have seen some pictures and it is so good. It's so good. It's so good. You guys, it's a great one Oh, I can't wait for you to see it. It's so awesome. I can't wait to get it and play with it. I think you guys are going to absolutely love it. Okay. So don't miss. Go ahead and sign up now. And if you sign up for the 3 months, you're going to get the October, November, and December. You can't beat that run, right? That's like those are 3 phenomenal boxes. And yeah, if you missed the September box, you can actually purchase it right now in the shop. And I know there are some of you out there that are kicking yourself because you didn't get the September box. Go do it, because there's only a handful of them in the shop right now. And that's what we're going to be using to create with today. Gosh, it's so pretty. So stinking pretty. You don't want to miss. You don't want to miss. I'm telling you. Okay, so that is not all that we've got going on. Okay, I want you to know that there are new things in the shop that dropped just recently. There's a whole slew of cage beads in different metals and sizes, and I love a good cage bead, I gotta tell you. So those are all under what's new, as well as all of these amazing rose beads and the colors. Oh, I don't have mine in person yet. They're supposed to be here soon. Oh gosh, there's one that is like a silver color with black roses on it, and it just has my name written all over it. So go check out what's new on the website while you're there. If you don't have the September box, grab the September box. You use your $10 off to subscribe to the Magical Mystery Bead Box. And last but not least, you guys do not snooze on Destination North Pole. Okay, just don't do it. You will be so mad at yourself if you do. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up here on the website for those of you who are new and don't know about the Destination North Pole. So we had summer camp back in August with Jesse James Beads. It was a series of classes, and you got a spot, and then you were part of a closed community, a gated community, if you will, a secret, not a secret, but a private Facebook group. And that's where we held the classes. You can still watch the classes if you were part of summer camp, so you can watch them over and over and over again. Everybody got bags of goodies to make all of the projects, and we're doing the same thing for the holidays. And the lineup is amazing, you guys. There are so many projects that I actually forgot while I was eating my lunch what the projects were. I was like, I can only think of 2 at the moment, but I have notes. I'm good. It's not like I'm not totally losing it, you guys. It's just that there is so much good stuff. It was hard for me to recall all of it. There is a little schedule. If you look it up on the Jesse James Beads website, we're going to do 3 weeks. 1 day out of those 3 weeks will be the classes. You're going to get classes with me, Meredith Roddy, Wyatt White, and Nilay Patel, and of course Sarah James will be there as well. And we're talking all about the holidays and creating projects that you can give, creating projects that you can keep for yourself, and traditions around the world, right? So many fun things, and the projects are so diverse. It's gonna be so good. So good. If you loved summer camp, you're going to adore this Destination North Pole. If you didn't do summer camp, please sign up for this. And if you need a little incentive, let me give you the insider information that I was privy to just 1 minute before Facebook Live. I can tell you, so we're still making, last minute changes and getting everything together and putting materials lists together. But one thing that everyone will get with their Destination Pole workshop pack is gonna be a jewel loom. Not the baby, but a full-size jewel loom. You guys, yes! yes. So in summer camp, the tool of the camp experience was the artistic wire mandrel set. And the tool for this holiday is going to be a jewel loom. I'm just so excited. I cannot, well, like I have chill bumps. I'm so excited. So we're going to use the jewel loom in a project. Of course, our good friend Juliana may make an appearance with us. Oh, it's going to be so fun, you guys. And for those of you who don't know, I design here for Jesse James Beads. That's like, you know, absolutely everything to me, but I also work very closely with Juliana and Jewel Loom. So for me, it's just like bringing everybody together. I love it. My little family of companies and people in the industry is just, it's so amazing. We have such a great community. I love it. And I love that we're getting to share like the things that we love about the other companies that we work with you guys. So it's a good one. It's a good one. Super excited. Okay, so I think that's all as far as the housekeeping is concerned. That was certainly a wealth of information for you. So if you missed any of that, you might want to go back and do the replay and make sure you don't miss anything. More than anything, you guys, don't miss out on the Magical Mystery Bead Box. I mean, of course, I want you to sign up for the Destination North Pole, but you can sign up for that tomorrow, right? You don't have to sign up for it today. I'd like for you to, but today is definitely the cutoff for the Magical Mystery Bead Box if you want the October box. So I got that going, right? You know, I just wanted to make that one really exciting. Don't miss that. Don't miss the October box. Okay, so speaking of the box, the September box, you guys, was Feelin Foxy. And you guys, I don't know if you remember or not, but a lot of people have asked about the unboxing, and I had mentioned that there were so many new releases that were coming out all at the same time that the September Magical Mystery Bead Box was coming out, that it was really, I was kind of, you know, all over the place trying to get my ducks in a row, and it just didn't work out that I could do an unboxing as a live because I had so many other amazing things to show you guys in the lives. So Sarah asked me to do a YouTube video of the unboxing of the September Magical Mystery Bead Box. So if you were missing that, if you look forward to that, it's still there. It just wasn't as a live because I couldn't get it scheduled in, but you can still see it. Subscribe to the Jesse James Beads YouTube channel anyway, because that's where all of our projects live, right? So you'll never miss anything, and you can see the unboxing. And I made some jewelry that I showed off. I'll show it to you here in just a second. And so for today, we're not going to actually unbox the box because I've already got it all out and I've used quite a bit of it. But what is left over is what we're going to use to put together our project for today. And this is a design on the fly. I've actually kind of already planned this design, right? I don't know what this is. This is me planning. I've already planned the design, but I haven't executed the design. So that's what makes this on the fly, because you know how I am. Like, I'll make changes along the way. So it definitely is on the fly. Okay, but before we do that, let me show you some of the pieces that I made. So you guys know I can't not do this with the strand. This is one of my favorites. This is my favorite thing to do with Jesse James Bead strands. And the strands that are in the Magical Mystery Bead Box are always gorgeous. This one is no exception. So I took the strand and just restrung it, right? Gosh, it's so pretty. Like instant gratification jewelry is where it's at, I'm telling you. And then I used some of the chain reaction that was included in the box as well to create this necklace. It goes beautifully together. Ideas showering down on your head. Yeah, I think that's what that is. Ideas coming from the heavens. So that was one. The other one, and you guys have seen a lot of these in pictures posted in the group and in your emails as well. So this was a multi-strand bracelet, and just a super easy peasy put together, but so fun, right? I love a multi-strand design. I know this is teeny beanie, but it fits my wrist. And I used a gorgeous clasp that was part of the metal mix, added some tassels for some extra fun, and then these beads can we just talk about that? Oh, yes. So beautiful. So these are the mother of pearl shell beads that are custom created for Jessie James beads. You can't buy this in a strand. You can't find this anywhere. This is special, exclusive, and there were 2 of these. So this is what I did with one of them, and I wanted to make a pendant to go with my bracelet. So I put together a pendant that I can pop onto whatever chain that I want. So again, it's the second one of those beads. I just did a little herringbone wire wrapping on a glass pearl from the box. I used the little fox charm and one of the 3-tiered tassels, and you just pop this on some chain. I had it on some gold ball chain. It looks really, really good. I needed the ball chain to take a picture for something else. But that's what I had this hanging on, and that's what it will go back to. But gosh, it's so pretty and so fun. And it speaks alone, right? It just needs chain. I didn't need to do a whole beaded piece with this just because I feel like this was such a statement on its own. And super, super cute. And then of course, I couldn't not make tassel earrings. You guys, these are so easy to do. You just pop some ear wires on and you've got gorgeous tassel earrings ready to go. Again, instant gratification jewelry. I'm all over that. Loving that. And then last but not least, I put together a statement piece. You guys have seen this in pictures. I'll show it to you real quick, just so that you can see it. So I did pull some chain from my own stash. That's this bitty chain in the silver, just really small chain. And the leather was part of the box. And then everything else here was part of the box, except for the seed beads, but they're Jessie James beads, seed beads, right? As is the chain. So all Jessie James beads here. But I thought that I just needed a statement piece out of the box. And even though I added my own chain, all of this is doable with what's in the box. So, yeah, thought that it was a fun one. And then up here, you guys, that's just jump rings, which is why I'm out of jump rings. I actually have to put an order in for jump rings as soon as we are done here because I'm quite literally out of silver jump rings. I'm out of a couple things, but the jump rings are on the top of the list because you can't really do much without a jump ring. Okay, so that's it for what has already been made. But, whoa, if it doesn't end up in my lap, I still have a whole bowl of wonderful things to create with, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to create kind of a design on the fly with what is left over, and we're going to make another statement piece. This one's not nearly as bold in the sense of the chain and the drapes, but this is still a really cool statement piece with lots of mixed metals. That was the theme for this. Because of that little metal mix that was included, I thought it would be cool to just mix and match, and I think that the end results are going to be great. So let's get down to it and let's do it. That's why I'm out of, yeah, it is why I'm out of jump rings. Absolutely. All right, guys. Excuse me. Okay, so this is what is left over. So keep in mind, I've already made several pieces of jewelry, and this is what I have left, which is still a whole lot of stuff to work with here, right? We've got the little beads with the foxes on them. How cute is that? I've got a whole nother piece of chain reaction, and I almost planned when I was doing that whole planning thing with the ideas falling down on my head, I almost used this, and I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna, because I've already used the chain reaction, so I'm just gonna save this one. But you guys, if you don't want to get the chain that I'm gonna show you for this piece, it's just a small piece of chain. You absolutely can use this in place of the chain that I'm gonna use. Karen says, do you have a stomach ache from the tasting? No, I don't. I'm good. I did at first, but I'm much, much better now. All right. Oh, you guys are talking about Lilo and Stitch. I love it. Oh, that would be such a fun strand or mix. Oh my gosh. I feel like I've missed so many comments. I'm so sorry. I was just blabbering away. Can I put yes. So this is the Feelin Foxy card. So beautiful. Absolutely awesome. So this is the colorway, and I don't know if it's really if it's showing on camera as colorful as it is, but even though this has that beautiful kind of chocolate brown is like a lot in the picture, there is the cream and the gold and the red brown, and it is just amazing. And I feel like this is such a good representation, right? Gosh, it's so pretty. Like I just can't even. I got to bring the strand back in here so that you can just kind of ooh and ah. Look how perfect. Look how perfect. Right? That's the card. I mean, it's just perfect. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay. All right. Jessica says she wishes she would have gotten this box. You know what? It's still available over in the shop. There's a handful of them left. Okay, so this is what we've got to work with, and we've still got a lot to work with, right? And one of the things that popped out to me at first, of course, was, because I'm always drawn to the sparkle, are the two strands, the beaded chain strands. And I don't know if everyone's are different or not, but mine are, I don't think they are. I think they might be all the same. Yeah, so black chain and silver chain. So we've got these gorgeous faceted glass. And what's super, super cool about these, immediately I was like, that's awesome, is the metal mix. Do you see the metal mix in this? So these are on wrapped loops in antique brass, but then the little jump rings are pops of copper. There's just something about that just really drew me in. So yeah, this is going to be part of our necklace. In fact, I'm going to have both of these on one side of the necklace. So let's actually do that real quick and get moving and shaking on this, shall we? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to connect these two pieces with two antique brass jump rings. Okay. So I'm just going to open up my jump ring, twist it open, and I'm going to thread on one end and the other end. And then I'm going to close that back. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So as far as our necklace design is concerned today, because this is a design on the fly, the technique, I tried to keep it pretty simple. We're just going to do some wrapped loops and some simple loops. I didn't want to do any kind of crazy new technique or anything like that because I really want the beads to be the star, and sometimes the technique can take away. So we're going to keep it simple, but I feel like the results from this you guys are going to love. So it's definitely not, it's not missing any style for sure. Okay. All right. So this is going to be one side of our necklace, right down in front. And then for the other side, I thought it would be cool to take some of our beads, and I'm going to wire wrap. So let me kind of lay this out for you so you can see. I'm going to wire wrap the wooden beads. Okay. I'm going to use some gold to do the wire wrapping on those guys. We're going to make a beaded chain, sort of like what we've got here, just in a single over here. And then I wanted to use these gray beads that are just beautiful. I feel like fall and winter, cloudy days are completely acceptable, right? In the spring and the summer, you want the sun to be shining in it, to be blue skies all the time. And in the fall, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a crisp blue sky fall day. That's amazing. But I feel like we tolerate gray skies in the fall and winter much more than we do any other time of the year. And that's what this color reminds me of. It's just a beautiful fall gray sky day. So we're going to do those 4 beads, and I want a bead cap on each one of these just as a pop of metal. So we're going to do the gold here, and then we're going to do the silver here. Let me grab the bead caps. Okay, so we're going to make our beaded chain, and then we're going to attach this with some chain, and then we're going to make a fun little dangle here. And let me go ahead and show you the clasp. So I actually have 2 clasps for this. One clasp is just a standard lobster clasp that's going to go at the back. We're actually going to use our copper clasp. This is available over on the site. Remember, clasps are 10% off. This gorgeous copper clasp I'm so in love with. So we're actually going to use this as our focal, and we're going to make some dangles to hang from this that you can kind of change out if you want to, because it is openable, right? So gonna be cool. I just wanted you to see this one because yeah, it's a good one. So you can see how we're kind of mixing all the metals here. We've got our antique brass, we've got copper, we are going to have gold, and we've got silver. So we've got everything in this necklace, and I think the results are going to be really cool. Okay, so as far as the these wooden beads, I'm actually going to use some 20 gauge German style wire in gold. We don't use a lot of 20 gauge, but part of the reason that I picked the 20 gauge is because you can see, oops, these wooden beads have a large hole. And so the 22 gauge was just not going to be thick enough, so I thought we would use the 20, because I know you guys have, a lot of you have 20 gauge in your stash, and if you don't, you can grab some on the website. But we're going to do kind of a messy double wrap on either end of these so that the gold really does kind of show. So let's get started with that. You're just going to need about a 4-inch piece here of the 20 gauge wire. And we're going to bend the wire just like so with our chain nose pliers. Okay, now we're going to come in with the round nose pliers. I'm going to go up and over. I'm going to roll the pliers out of the way and take the wire over to the other side. I'm going to switch hands and I'm going to wire wrap, and you're going to notice I've got a long tail here. I intentionally did that so that I can go back over. So our first wraps, we started at the loop and went down. Now we're going to take the rest of the wire and go up over the wraps that we already made. Whoops. That one didn't want to go over. It just wanted to make itself. And I'm just kind of messily taking this over. So it's not really that slouchy sock. Sorry guys. It's not that slouchy sock look that I do where I line the wire wraps up. It's just kind of a messy, just kind of bulking up that wire wrap. I wish I'd given myself more of a tail. This would have been less of a challenge here. But just kind of chunking that up. A little chunkin' punkin'. Okay. Now I know that that's gonna keep all my wire wraps. It's gonna keep from sliding inside the bead. I do see that little tail end of the wire though, and I do need to trim that off just because I don't want that to get caught on any clothing. Test it with my finger. It's good to go. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing on the other end. We're just gonna do a chunky monkey wire wrap. Okay, round nose pliers coming in, up and over, take the wire on around, okay, and do the wire wrap. You can do this with your fingers, you can do it with your pliers, whichever, okay. Give yourself about 3 wraps and then just take whatever's left of the wire and wrap back over the wraps that you already made. Whoops, goodness, I cannot hold on to the wire today. And then we're just going to trim that off. So you're getting kind of that chunky wire wrap look. It's not perfect, which is exactly what I'm going for, but it is noticeable in that I want that gold to be part of the design. Okay, that's why we're doing that extra chunky. All right, so there's one. Now we're going to do another one, and I actually want these wrapped together. So I'm not going to use jump rings here to put these together. We're actually going to directly wire wrap them to each other. So you're going to start out the same way. You're going to come in with your chain nose pliers. You're going to go up and over, roll the pliers out of the way, and guide the wire over to the other side. Now before you do your wraps, you want to take the tail end of that wire and you want to thread it through one of the wrapped loops that you made on the bead, and then you just want to snap those 2 loops. Whoops, I don't know why mine don't want to go together today. You just want to snap those 2 loops together, and I'm going to use my bent chain nose pliers to hold the loop so that there's still plenty of room. Leah says, how do you decide how far to go down the wire before, let's see, hold on. I missed it. Where did it go? Come back. To make the first wrap. Well, let's see how far. Let me do this one, and then we'll talk about that in just a second, because I think I know where you're talking about, but if not, might need to get some more information from you. Okay, so I'm just going to messily, and if you've got a longer tail, obviously you're going to have a little bit more to play with here. So I probably should have cut my wire pieces a little longer than what I've got, just to do this kind of messy look. Most importantly, you just don't want that end to be sticking out. Okay, so now we're going to thread on a bead, right? And all that chunky fun wire is going to hold. It's not going to slide inside the bead. We're going to repeat this process on the other end. Okay, coming in with the round nose pliers. The wire is running between the barrel of the pliers. I'm going to go up and over, and I'm not moving the pliers at this point. I'm just moving the wire, right? But now I do need to move the pliers because this bottom barrel of the pliers is in the way. I can't take this wire over to the other side where I need it to be to create the loop. So I need to just roll the pliers into this position. Okay. Now I can take that wire over to the other side. There's still space here to do the wire wraps. I'm going to grab that wire with my pliers. We're going to wrap around in that space. Okay, and then again, I went from the loop down. Now I'm going to go from the bottom wrap up to the loop, just kind of covering up what I've already done. That first wrap, though, it just wants to make its own spot. It doesn't want to behave. Okay, just a little chunky monkey wrapping around. And we've got our tail back here. We want to trim that off. Trim as close as you can and check it with your finger. Okay. So we're 3 beads into our little beaded chain. Okay, so I think this was the question. So when I'm making wrapped loops, a lot of times I plan ahead. And for the most part, you're only going to need about 4 inches of wire to make a wrapped loop on both ends of something, right? If you're just going to make a wire wrapped loop on one end and like a knotted head pin on the other end, you're really only going to need about 3 inches, 3.5 inches. How do I determine where to make the first bend in the wire? It really kind of depends on what it is that I'm going to do with the wire. You're going to take into consideration a couple of different things. You're going to take into consideration how much tail you want. So obviously I need more tail if I want to do some messy wire wrapping and like double it up like I'm doing here. If I just need a good 3 wraps and a small loop, then I can come up and give myself about 1.5 inches, and that's plenty to work with. But if I need a little bit more, then I come down just a bit, right? Almost to halfway, but not quite, and that's where I make the bend. That's going to give me plenty of room on either side. This is more like a 5-inch piece. You also have to take into consideration the size of your loops as well. If you're going to make a larger loop by using the back portion of your tool, then obviously you're going to need more wire. So you may want to come down a little bit further so that you've got plenty of wire to create that loop and still have enough to do your wire wraps with. So it really isn't like, there's no magical formula. I wish I could give you a magical formula. It really just kind of comes with trial and error. And you know, if you're going to start out with about 4.5 inches of wire and come down about 2 inches and just practice and play with it. And eventually you'll kind of be able to eyeball exactly where it is. You start to kind of get a feel for how much wire you're going to need for things. I hope that helped. I know that probably wasn't the best answer, but the truth is that there really isn't a formula to it. You just kind of have to take everything into consideration, the size of your bead, the size of your loop, all of that. So yay, I'm glad I helped you, Leah. I always worry that I don't explain things very well. You guys tell me otherwise, but that doesn't mean I don't second guess. Okay, so now we're going to make our wrapped loop here, and you'll notice when I make my wrapped loops, for the most part, I like to make mine on the small side. Like, very rarely do I make a loop that is any bigger than a 3mm loop. For me, the smaller the better. These are a little bit bigger loops than what I normally make, but that's okay. Okay, so up and over with the wire, roll the pliers out of the way, and take that wire on over to the other side. And we're going to do about 3 wraps. Oh my gosh, we're going to undo those wraps. In fact, we're going to need a new piece of wire. Lucky for me, I've got one right here. I forgot we need to wire wrap those together. So it's a good thing I've got lots of wire on hand. Thank you, Maria. I try. I know that I can be long-winded with explanations, and that kind of drives people crazy, but I always feel like I'm giving you as much information, or the information that I wish someone had given me, right? If I had had that question. So, all right, there's our loop. Now, before we do the wire wrapping, got to remember, we want to take the tail end of our wire. We haven't done any wrapping yet. Thread that through and just pop those two together. Okay. I use my bent chain nose pliers so that the pliers are out of the way. And now I can do the wire wraps, and then go back over those wire wraps. It's a little bit harder to do that kind of double messy wrap with your fingers when the wire gets short. Okay. Good to go. Okay, and now we're going to thread on our bead, and we're going to repeat that on the other side. So just grabbing the wire, bending the wire, up and over, roll the pliers on over. And as far as the silver goes, because we are about to get into the silver of this beaded chain that we're doing, I'm going to use just the silver color German style wire in the 22 gauge that I normally use. So that'll be more of a standard wrapped loop for us. Okay, trim that tail off, and we've got 3 beads ready to go, and you can see how fun the mix of the metals is going to be. And Sarah one time said, Miss Sarah James, in all of her infinite wisdom, said that you should treat metal like it's just a color. And I think that's probably the first time I ever heard that. Like, I've always looked at it that way, but that's the first time I heard somebody else say it out loud. Just treat your metals like they are a color. And that makes making multi-metal designs using different colors of metal so much easier when you look at them as colors instead of, oh, the whole thing should have gold or the whole thing should have silver. No, you can mix your metals around when you look at them like color instead of metal. Just see them that way. So I love that. I love that. I loved that she said out loud what I had thought forever, you know, and I think that it makes it easier when you're designing. If you struggle with mixed metals in your designs, it kind of opens things up and makes it free for you to look at them as color. Okay, so speaking of that color, we're going to continue on now. I've picked up some 22 gauge silver color German style wire. This is my standard. This is my go-to. I use this for absolutely everything. And again, about 4 inches is all you're going to need, because we're not going to do chunky monkey wraps. We're just going to do regular wraps. So I'm only going to come down on that wire about 1.5 inches. Okay, and I'm going to give it a bend. Come in. Round nose pliers, up and over, roll them out of the way, take the wire over to the other side, and I'm just doing a standard shoot magoot. We needed to attach that, but we can attach it with the other end. You like that? Shoot magoot? Okay. This will just be the other end. But there's our wire wrap, and we've got a little bit extra tail here. Come in and trim that off. Okay, Now we're going to thread on, we're going to thread on our bead, and we want one of these cool bead caps. And I actually want my bead caps to be on the bottom. And I'm only doing one for each. So it's going to be like a little cup for your bead to sit in. And I like it on the bottom so that when you're looking at the necklace, you can actually see the decorative part of the bead cap instead of putting it on the top, which you can still see it that way too, but I don't know. I just kind of like it on the bottom. Making a little cup for my bead. So same thing, we're going to do the wire wrap on this end. This time though, I need to remember that we've got to wire wrap it directly to our beads that we've already done. So up and over. That is an alternative sentence enhancer. That's the G version of a sentence enhancer. Shoot my goot. That's when my kids are like, Mom, that is so lame. Like that, but it's better than saying what I wanted to say. So just popping those two together. Okay, same thing. I'm just going to come in with my bent chain nose pliers, and I'm going to let gravity work for me and drop all that down so that I've got that space in there. Kathleen, you're funny. Oh goodness. And do our wire wraps, and again we're just doing 3 just plain old wraps, and then we're going to come in with the chain nose, not the chain nose, our cutter tool, and trim that off. And we've got 4 more to go, so I'm going to kind of speed through the next 4 so that we're not here forever. You guys, Nita, you guys want to see the rest of this necklace put together, so I'm not gonna go super duper slow. We're gonna kind of speed this up a little bit. Okay, so making our bends, round nose pliers in place, up and over, roll, wire over, taking the end of that wire, putting it through the loop, bent chain nose pliers, and wire wrap. Okay, I'm going to come in and trim that off. Okay, and then our bead cap to hold our little bead, our Cloudy Day bead. I love these. They're so pretty. That gray. You know, some people don't like gray. I love gray. It's such a good neutral, and I feel like it is underused in jewelry. Okay, again, bending, round nose pliers, up and over, roll them out of the way, take them to the other side, and I'm going to use my pliers to do the wire wrapping here. Okay. Cloudy Day bead. It is a cloudy day bead. A gray day. But I like a good cloudy day in the fall, and it's really cold and the leaves are all over the ground and there are jack-o'-lanterns on porches. The wind is blowing. Like that's my happy place. Okay. Maybe a little misty rain in that. I'm a huge fan of rain, so there's a name for that. I think it's a pluviophile. Those are people who love rain. That's me. It drives my family crazy because they do not like rain. I'm the only one in the house that I love a rainy day. It's my favorite to curl up in front of the fireplace with a blanket and a book. Okay. Whoops. Up and over, rolling out of the way, and we are almost done with this little section here. We've got, whoa, one more bead to add to our strand. Okay, this is our last little piece of wire. When do I have time to read a book? Believe it or not, I do. I do find time. People ask me that all the time, like, how do you have time to do anything? You guys, I am very busy. I'm not going to lie. I do 9 to probably 8 most days, 9 to 8. Because I got a lot of things to do, but I enjoy every bit of it. And then as far as extra things are concerned, like reading or spending time outside or any of the things that I really love to do, there's this saying that, you know, when it's something that you love, you'll make time for it. And I do that. I make time for it. Like, I know I have a busy schedule, but I need that time. I need to have time to read. I need to have time to lay in the bed and play games on my phone. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta have time to do those things in order to continue to have the energy and not get burnt out with the things that I do every day. Because I don't know if everybody realizes it. Some people do, because some people have the same kind of job that I've got, but it is very difficult to be creative every single day. And I know everybody gets creative block. I have moments of creative block. And if I'm not careful, I get burned out. And when I get burned out, I don't want to touch jewelry at all. It doesn't ever last very long, but it does happen. So I have to be careful. And in order to keep those things from happening, I got to read a book. I got to play Manor Matters on my phone, you know. I've got to do the hidden object games and the match 3 games to keep my sanity and to keep my creative cup full. You know, you don't want to let it get too empty. But the good news is that when my creative cup kind of runs empty, I've got such a great team, and by team I mean friends. Sometimes when my brain doesn't work, I can say, okay, Sarah, tell me what to make today, because my brain is just not having it. And she is always so helpful. And then I've got my my good friends, Joan and Jane and Kathleen and Ginger, and they always have really good suggestions for me too if I ever need a boost. So, you know, I'm just like everybody else, you guys, but it is challenging sometimes. It's challenging to find the time, you know, to do the things that you love, but you got to for your sanity, particularly when you have to be creative every day. That it's really hard. It's not an easy thing to do. I love it, and I can't imagine myself doing anything else, but the designs don't always come to me. So this chain is what we're going to use as the link for this necklace. And I wanted to tie in this copper somewhere. That's why I picked this chain. If you want to use some of the chain reaction that was included in your box, you can use it. It's going to look just as beautiful. But I wanted to use some of this gorgeous chain from Jesse James Beads to kind of pull the copper, because I feel like the little pops of copper here in between these beads needed a little something extra. So we've got the copper clasp that we're going to use down here as our focal with some things hanging from it. And then we've got this gorgeous, and this chain is UTE. I don't know how you say that, if it's UTE or UTA, or if it's just UTE. That's the name of the chain. It comes in this gorgeous copper color, and you can also get it in a silver on the website as well. It's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. It's got that kind of antique copper finish to it. So it's not like bright and in your face. It's understated and classy, which all copper is good copper in my opinion. But okay, so I am going to attach this with just some jump rings here. I've got 2 copper jump rings, and I'm just going to attach that on either end, and then we're going to work on this bottom part. Okay, and the bottom part is really going to be kind of freestyle. I'm going to put some things together. You can put together whatever you want to go on this bottom piece, but now remember, I said there are 2 clasps here. I've used a copper clasp for the back of the necklace. this clasp is not actually going to be a clasp. So you're not going to actually, this is not going to be a function one. This one is going to be just for decoration. Okay, so don't get confused. There is definitely a clasp back here to help you get your piece on and off, okay? All right, so just threading the jump ring and attaching the chain. It's funny because this necklace we've actually built, we've done the long portion first. We normally start in the center and kind of work our way back, but okay, so these are the two sides of our necklace. I am loving all of this multi-metal yumminess. Like, it's just so pretty, so pretty. So now what I want to do is I want to put together some little charms and like decorative fun things to hang from this, okay? So let's do that first before we attach it to the ends. I want to use the flower, and this flower has actually already got some jump rings on it, and I did that because I literally am out. I have 3 jump rings left. I am literally out of jump rings, and I knew that if I did not attach these and leave them there, I would use them for something else and then I wouldn't have them. So I've attached 2 silver colored jump rings to the flower charm. There were 2 of these in your Magical Mystery Bead box. And then I'm just going to pop that on there. So that's going to be one of our dangles. I use the extra jump ring in between there just to give it some length and to make sure that the flower was going to hang this direction instead of side to side. Okay, so there's one. Now the rest of this, you can do this however you want to. Okay, you don't have to use the same things that I'm using, but I saw this little combination and I thought it was so perfect. So this little copper glass pearl, and then look at this bead cap. It, to me, it's a perfect little acorn. So we're gonna make an acorn out of that, and we are going to use a head pin for this. So I'm gonna use silver. Just gonna pop that onto a head pin. I'm gonna thread on the bead cap. Looks just like a little acorn. I love it. I love the little acorns this time of year. My mom does not. Her yard is full of acorns and she uses her sentence enhancers when she goes out, but I love them. Okay, so I'm going to do a wrapped loop on this and add a jump ring, and we're going to put this on there as well. So just bending the wire, coming in with the round nose pliers, up and over, on around. Look how cute. I need earrings that are this. I love it. Such a cute little combination. Okay, so here are 2 of the last 3 silver 6mm jump rings in existence in this room. And actually, I think I have some in my work bag, but I mean, as far as like right here in front of me, these literally are 2 of the last 3. I definitely have got to get a hold on that. All right, so threading on one of the jump rings, and let's see, I've got the picture pulled up of the drawing of this. I can't remember if I used 2 jump rings for this or just 1. Do you guys do that? Do you guys draw what you're gonna make or like sketch it out? I'm not a very good artist as far as like drawing jewelry. I can draw other things, but drawing jewelry I do much better just making the jewelry. But a lot of times I will sketch out something and then I will put it into the computer so I can blow it up big and look at it and then make my changes. So 2 jump rings on this guy so that it has a little extra length as well. I'm going to put that on here. Close that back. So see, we're building up a little charm section. Can't draw a stick man. Robin, I kind of feel that way with jewelry. Like, I'm really bad at the sketches that I do, but I recognize like jump rings and spacer beads in my drawings, and then like the bigger beads, that's a little different. You never really know what you're looking at. Okay, so now I want to do a little chain piece because I want to bring some of this gold. The only real gold color that we've got in this piece is right here. So I wanted to bring in a little short piece of gold chain. And I want to use one of these drop beads because they're so dang cool. They remind me of a tiger. Got that real deep amber color with the black in it. Super cool. So we're going to put this on a head pin. And let's just do a wrapped loop on the top of it. Okay. Up and over. And actually, before we wire wrap this, let's just thread it directly onto the bottom of this chain. Okay, so just pop that in there. And the bent chain nose pliers. And then do the wire wrap. Oh, my head pin was splitting. I have to change that out. But it's good for now, so we're good to go. Okay. So that one's ready to hang on here. I'm going to hang it kind of between these two. I'm going to use a gold color jump ring for this. And again, you could just slide these on just by opening up that clasp, but I didn't do them in like the order that I wanted them to hang, so that's why I'm just kind of attaching them instead of just opening them and sliding them on. However, because this is a clasp and you can open it and close it at your leisure, you can change your charms and little beaded sections out, right? You can add things to it, take things away from it very easily just by opening and closing it. Okay, so two more things I want to add to this. So one of the things was I had cut two beads off of these two beaded chain pieces, and I just used a head pin and an eye pin in antique brass and an antique brass jump ring. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this one on there. I just wanted to bring this color down here, so I cut these off ahead of time and left them wrapped. So actually, why do that? This is going to go on the edge. I can just slide it on there. All right, now I want one more little beaded kind of chain with a softer color in it to add to this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my bead cap keeps jumping up the wire. Okay, I'm going to use eye pins. I thought I had another head pin in here. I've got 3 silver eye pins. I'm going to have to grab a head pin, and I'm going to use this beautiful, I don't even know what color you would call that. It's just such a dreamy color. It's kind of peach, kind of clear, kind of crystal. I don't know what color that is, but I like it, whatever it is. So I'm going to do simple loops on these, and I'm just going to put those together real quick. So let's put our bottom bead on a head pin, okay? And then we'll just do simple loop. So bend that wire over. This is a really thick eye pin, so I had to use my pliers for that one. So now I'm going to trim off the wire. I'm going to leave myself about 1/4 of an inch of the wire to create a simple loop, and I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers, grab that wire, and then roll back towards the bead to make our loop. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and take an eye pin, and I'm going to open it up, thread this guy on, close it back, thread a bead, and then repeat. So bend, cut, round nose, roll. Okay. Same thing. Only got 2 more to go. Open, thread that on, close it back, add our bead, and we're just about finished. There's our loop. One more. All right, last loop and last jump ring. Very last jump ring right here. All right, open that up and thread that on. So we've just got a little beaded section here to add as well. And I'm gonna put that right between these two. So just gonna pop that on. And now we've got this fun little centerpiece that's got different lengths, it's got different colors, it's got all the metals in there, right? Super fun. If you don't like this one, you can change it up. There are still, you guys, look at all the beads. Like, I'm not even done. And this makes piece of jewelry, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 7 pieces of jewelry, and I still have all of this. Like, the magical mystery bead box is the gift that just keeps on giving. Okay, now I'm gonna attach our clasp to the ends here of our necklace, and our necklace will be complete. I'll put this on a bust so that you can see it. And I think it turned out well. I think it turned out better than my drawing for sure, and better than what I had envisioned. And the mixes of the metals are just so good, just so pretty. There's so much going on here, right? And just the most amazing beads. I love it. There's everything here. There's glass, there's wood, there's the pearl, the glass pearl, there's the check glass beads, those faceted shiny. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Has all of the things I love in it. All right. Let's see. Joy says, what size jump rings are you using? I'm using 6mm jump rings in just various colors for this piece. The 6mm jump rings in silver are what I go through the most, which is why I'm out of them. But I have a huge selection of jump rings in lots of colors. I really am partial to the 6mm. 6mm and 4mm are the two that I use the most. So, is that copper clasp at the front? It is. It's just part of the design. It is not a functioning clasp. It's just a gorgeous focal. I thought it was really fun, pretty way to incorporate that copper down here in the bottom. All right, let me put this on a bust so that you can take a look at it hanging, because it really does give you kind of a different feel when you see it hanging instead of laying flat. So do that for you. And now I'm going to turn you guys around. All right, guys. Hi. Okie dokie. So, microphone doing a weird thing. All right, so without further ado, here is our fun necklace. So this has so much going on. Look at all the colors in this. I just can't get over it. And again, that's just like our dear friend Sarah says, the metals are colors. So I can totally grasp that, right? When I'm looking at it this way, I can totally grasp that the metals are colors. And when you look at it that way, we've got a lot of color here. Even though these are muted fall colors, it's still a wide color palette. So pretty. And I feel like it's a really cool representation of the card, right? It's got everything going on. And then of course it's got that gorgeous copper chain up here at the top. the copper down here in the bottom, the little pops of color in between all of the beads, and the dangles here, which you can change these up and make these whatever you want them to be, right? There are so many things still left in the mix. There are these little fabric beads that would look really pretty in this. There's a tassel that I had left that would have worked down here as well. The fox beads, I kind of wish I'd have added one of those. I'll have to go do that. Add one of the little fox beads, and there are still pops of metal all through what's left over, some little copper beads and some antique brass beads. So lots of color, lots of color. Joy says, I love mixing metals. I do too. And I feel like this is a really cool way to like jump in feet first. If you've never mixed metals before, do that with this Magical Mystery Bead Box, because it gives you the opportunity to do that. There is so much beautiful metal involved in this box that you can't not, you know? Awesome. Oh, thank you guys. You're so, so sweet. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad it turned out well. It's always a risk when you do design on the fly. Like, you can draw it out all you want to. You can lay the beads out on your bead mat all day long and think, oh, that's going to look good. And then when you execute it, sometimes it just doesn't turn out. And so design on the fly is always a risk, because there's always that thought in the back of my mind that this could go really bad. But the cool thing is I've got you guys, you know, and we could easily work something out. And we've worked through several problems together. So awesome. Yes, with the exception of the chain and the focal clasp, everything else is part of the Magical Mystery Bead Box. Yeah, so all of this stuff you see. And the clasp, you guys don't forget, the clasps are 10% off. That's why I included a really cool clasp. The chain is relatively new. That came from Primitive Earth Beads, which we featured 2 weeks back. So there you go. All right, guys, that is it for me. I hope you have had fun with this project. I hope you guys are having a great week. We're right in the middle. The weekend is in sight, but we've still got work to do. So let's get down to it, shall we? You guys can catch me again tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be using some more of the Halloween collection beads from Jesse James Beads. And I'm going to be incorporating some of those gorgeous new beads that are available over on the site. So go check those out. Don't forget, if you want to get the October Magical Mystery Bead Box, you're going to have to sign up by the end of today to get the October box. You can sign up tomorrow if you want to, but the first box that you'll get will be the November box. So just keep that in mind, okay? You can get $10 off of new subscriptions with the code MYSTERY for that. And of course, don't forget the Fairy Silk is buy 3 get 1 free, and that's a really good deal. And the new colors that go with all of the Halloween collection are gorgeous. So all right, lots of fun things going on, you guys. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Bye, guys.